Hello, hello, it's Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to my Sale-a-Bration Spotlight Day 3. I think I wrote it wrong. I may have written it wrong on the title of the video, but I'll fix it when we're all done. It is day 3. We are counting down to the end of Sale-a-Bration. It goes until next Sunday, so you have 1 week left to get all your favorites from the Sale-a-Bration brochure. And if you haven't been paying attention, this is how Sale-a-Bration works. For every $50 that you order before tax and shipping, you can choose a free gift from the Sale-a-Bration brochure. So I have been going through one by one and sharing some ideas with you so you can see all the awesome things that you can do with all the gift choices. So the first day we did projects with the Paper Blooms designer paper. Yesterday I shared this cute flat fold card with the darling donkeys. So today we are going to make some cards using Approaching Perfection, and I decided to just kind of push these two into one. So we're also going to be using the Oh So Ombré designer paper. So this is going to be a double duty day, and I just realized let me grab a package of this paper so that you guys can see. This is a 6x6 paper pack, and it has 48 sheets, and there are 2 different ombre patterns. We've got the polka dots, and then we've just got the plain ombre, and each one is double-sided. So we've got polka dots that are Blackberry Bliss and Granny Apple Green, and then Rococo Rose and Bermuda Bay, and then the regular ombre in Rococo Rose and Bermuda Bay, and also of course in the Blackberry and Green, Granny Apple Green. So you can see you get multiple sheets of each pattern. Since there are 2 different patterns and 2 different colors, I think that works out to be 12 sheets in each pattern. Is that right? I think so. Yeah. That's right, 12 sheets in each pattern, and of course they're reversible. So really bright colors. So we're going to use these. We're going to use all the patterns in all the colors to make cards. And I have to say, I've been a little bit not stumped, but Approaching Perfection is not a stamp set that has excited me because it's just sentiments. Birthday sentiments, which are very useful, but like most of the samples that I've seen, just like the ones here in the brochure, they're just using the sentiments with other sets. Well, today I'm going to make this set be the star of the show. So I'm going to make some cards using Approaching Perfection and the ombre paper, and you're going to see how awesome these two are on their own, but more so together. So we're going to make 4 different birthday cards because we're going to use each color, and I wanted to keep these cards really simple. So these are going to be very simple cards that you can duplicate very easily, whether you have these stamp sets or other ones. So we're going to start with card bases. These are just going to be regular cards, 5.5 by 8.5, and then scored in half for a 5.5 by 4.25 card base. This is the standard size that we make here in the United States. And the colors I chose go with the colors that are in the designer paper. So we've got Rococo Rose, Blackberry Bliss, Granny Apple Green, and Bermuda Bay. I have my little guide here because I have pre-cut some pieces. So I am going to show you those next. Our designer paper, I'm going to use the polka dots, and I have cut 1 of each color, and those are 4 by 5.25 inch. And so there's going to be 1 for each color base. And then I also have a white cardstock that's cut the same size, and that's going to be for the inside. So I did go ahead and stamp these because I wanted to use the balloon stamp, and I used that stamp on all of the cards, and so I had to clean it and use different colors. So I did that ahead of time. These are going to be for the insides of the card. So I'm just going to match those up. I've got 1 for every color, and it was my goal to use every single stamp in this set. So you're going to have an idea for everything in this set. So, again, I'm going to make these cards be pretty simple. So one of the simple layerings that I like to do is cutting cardstock into quarters. So let me show you really quick. I'm going to grab, I'll grab some, let's see, I'll do pink. I'm going to show you how I cut these. Okay, so a really good layer for your cards is doing a quarter of a sheet, no, an eighth of a sheet. So if you cut cardstock in half at 4 1/4, you get 2 pieces. This can be 2 card fronts. And then if you go in half again, this is 5 1/2, right? This is a standard card front. And so for this card, I'm cutting it in half again. Okay, so I have 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. That's the colored one down here, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So if I were to cut all of the pieces, I would end up with 8 of this size cardstock. So I'm just going to do that really quick. I'm not going to make all 8 cards right now, but I'll save these pieces and make up my cards off camera later on. Okay, so 8 quick card layers from 1 sheet of colored cardstock. And now for the white piece, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller so that I can layer on top. So I'm still going to get 8 pieces for the white sheet, but I'm going to have some leftover pieces on the side. So I'm going to start with 4 inches. And then I'm going to cut the other piece at 4 inches. So here we're going to have our 1/4 inch left over, or 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to put them together and I'm going to cut at 2 1/2 inches. So I'm still going to get 8 pieces, but they're just going to be a little bit smaller than the colored layer. And these will go on here perfectly. So for this card, these are the layers that I've cut. I've cut the white to be 2 1/2 by 4, and then the colored is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And then that is going to go on the card base again, which we have the designer papers 4 inches by 5 1/4. So this is some really simple, easy layering when you're making cards, whether you're using this stamp set or any stamp set at all. So we've got those pieces cut. I'm going to move those out of the way. I have 1 of each color, and I've got my white pieces. So I'm going to stamp them and then layer them, and they're going to go together with the card bases. I'm going to set those aside really quick. We'll assemble them at the end. The other thing I brought in is I have some scraps here of the Ombré designer paper. So I showed you what that looks like at 6 by 6, and this was left over from another card that I made. So actually, this is like the leftover here. So this is 4 inches, this is 2 inches. So this came off of another card that I made. And I'm going to use, for this card series, I'm going to use the Bouquet Builder, Balloon Bouquet punch. So I'm going to punch, 2 balloons from the blue side and flip it over and punch 2 from the pink side and do the same thing over here. 2 from the purple and 2 from the green. I like the darker ones. There we go. So we've got some balloons. We did that with our designer paper. So I'm trying to not use a ton of supplies. I want these cards to be really easy to duplicate. Okay, we are using the Memento Black ink pad, and then I also am bringing in Rococo Rose and Bermuda Bay, and then I have the Granny Apple Green Stampin' Blends marker. And on the inside, I really stuck to very similar things. I did like the black for the sentiment, and then I added the balloons and the colored. So let's start with the Rococo Rose. So I'm going to do the sentiment that says, So what if you're a year older? You're fabulous. Now, one little tip I have is because sometimes I stamp crooked or put the labels on crooked. So I try to make sure that the stamp is straight on the black. And then when I'm stamping, I maybe am not paying attention to the labels so much as just making sure the bottom of the black is straight. So that is the case with this stamp. I think it's just a little bit off. So I'm just going to make sure that my black is straight when I'm stamping. So I'm going to stamp this over here. I've got the white piece horizontal, and I've got the sentiment, and now I'm going to add some candles. This is one of the 2 images that are in this set. Mostly it is birthday sentiments, but it does have this candle stamp and then the balloon. So I'm going to stamp this twice, and we've got that. Isn't that cute? It's like really simple, but it's so cute. So I'm going to do all the stamping with all the different colors, and then we'll go back and we'll layer it. So this is the first one. That's the pink. Next, we will do the green. And for this one, I'm going to use the stamp that says, if things really do get better with age, then you're approaching perfection. I think that of all the cards that I send, well, I probably send thank you cards more than anything, but I think probably most people send birthday cards more than any other kind of card. So that's a little crooked. I'm just going to try again. So this stamp set, Approaching Perfection, is perfect because it has all these really great birthday sentiments in it. Okay, that's better. Now for this one, I want to introduce a little bit of color, so I'm going to use the Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm just going to kind of highlight the perfection word. So I just sort of did a little marker, just to highlight that word. And we're going to add the balloon, so it's going to make a little more sense when we get the cards together. But right now we're just doing the stamping part. Okay, so the next one's going to be the blue card, and I'm trying to use black and then also some of the colors. So for this one, we're going to do, the first part is going to say, the bad news is I forgot your birthday. The good news is I forgot your age. I am notorious for sending belated cards, so I love this one because it is perfect for that. Oops, I'm a little bit late kind of a sentiment. So I've got that in black, and then I'm going to use the blue ink pad to stamp happy birthday. So this is going to bring in the color that I want, and that's going to go right here at the bottom. Okay, so we've got some pink and green and blue, and the last one is going to be the purple, and the purple is Blackberry Bliss, which you can see is a really, really dark purple. And so I found when I was stamping, there just wasn't a whole lot of difference between the black and the Blackberry Bliss. So I'm just going to stamp in black for this one. And I love this one. It says, newsflash, birthdays found to be good for health. Studies show that people who have more birthdays live the longest. It's true, right? As much as we hate birthdays, the more you have, the longer you live. So they can't be all bad. All right, so we've got our sentiments all stamped. And I think, let's double check. I think that we have used every single stamp. We use these 2 on the blue card, these 2 on the pink card, this one on the green card, this one on the purple card, and as I've shown you, we've got some balloons stamped on the inside. So that's it. We've used them all. Woohoo! Sometimes I feel like there are stamp sets where I use just like the same stamp over and over again. And honestly, until I got this one out today, I think the happy birthday was the only stamp that I had used out of this set. So now I'm going to do some simple layering, and I'm going to put each of these white pieces onto the coordinating colors. So I've got Bermuda Bay and Granny Apple Green. And then Rococo Rose. And this one doesn't have any Blackberry Bliss on it, but that's the one that's going to go with our Blackberry Bliss cardstock. And so now we can embellish our pieces a little bit, and we can add those balloons that we punched out. So I'm going to flip these over and just use some regular adhesive. And let's see, I'm going to flip them all over. There we go. We talked the other day about like assembly lines. So when I'm making quite a few cards, I like to kind of do each of the steps at the same time. So that is what we're doing here. So now I'm going to embellish with these balloon punch outs, and I'm going to add them to each of the sentiments. So I'm not going to bother with strings or anything like this. This is going to be pretty simple, but the balloon shape in general just says birthday. So I don't think we need to have strings and get fancy. I think we can just have the balloon punch, and that says birthday. I like having them kind of come over the sides a little bit. I think it just like makes the card, gives it a little more interest and makes it a little, like it's not just one dimensional or two dimensional. It just sort of gives it a little bit of movement to have it come over the edge a little bit. Okay, we are coming along swimmingly. I'm going to go ahead and add Stampin' Dimensionals to all of these. I forgot to ask, how many of you already have the Approaching Perfection stamp set? Is this one that you chose when you were choosing your celebration gifts? I know that the Oso Ombré designer paper has been the most popular designer paper to be chosen as a celebration gift. So I bet many of you have this designer paper already. And if you don't, it's not too late. You still have 1 week left of celebration, and you can still choose and get this paper for free with a qualifying order. You can order in my online store at juliedavison.com/shop. And again, February 28th. So we have one more week to take advantage of celebration. All right, let's go ahead and add the layers now of our card. So this is the designer paper. And again, this is 4 inches by, I'm trying to decide how I want to put it on there, 4 inches by 5 1/4. So just sort of a standard card front, same size piece of white that's going to go on the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to add our focal point. So this, again, just really simple card, but it's so fun to mix them up and make them all a little bit different. So we've got, I'm going to do a little angle on here. And that's it. You can dress it up if you want with some ribbon or some rhinestones, but you know me, I really love just the simplicity of stamps, ink, and paper. So that's it on this one. The only thing really we added was the punch to kind of have some extra shape there. But otherwise, just plain stamped ink and paper. This is definitely simple stamping. Add that to the inside. This is especially important on a color like Blackberry Bliss because you just cannot see otherwise. You could use like a white chalk marker, but it's so much easier just to add a piece of white cardstock, and then you can stamp on it and, add some additional images on the inside. Okay, so for this one, again, we'll just do a little angle. I love this Ombré designer paper. Even though this is a monochromatic card, it still kind of has some depth to the colors since we've got like the light and the dark shades. So we're just gonna keep chugging along with our card layers. That was a little crooked, whoops. Sometimes I feel like it's just easier to stamp crooked on purpose because then it looks purposeful and it's not supposed to be straight. So there's a little tip. If you have a hard time stamping straight, just stamp it crooked on purpose and it'll look like it's supposed to be like that. All right, here's our green card. I love that. So bright and fun. All right, one more card. We didn't time it this time. I did have some stuff that was already done ahead of time, but this really is a very quick and easy card. So if you are making up birthday cards for card ministry or for your friends or your team or your family, if you have a really big family, this is a design that you're going to be able to make lots of cards super fast with. Flip that around so the dark is in the corner, right in the center, and then we'll add our last card layer on the front. Oh my gosh, so cute. The bad news is I forgot your birthday, but the good news is I forgot your age. And there we have the balloons on the inside. So quick and easy. Do you love them? Tell me which one is your favorite, because really you could do any of these designs with any of the colors. So you could have the candles be in green or purple or blue. You could do any of these designs. You can just switch up the greetings and do them however you want. Oh, yay! I love all your hearts. I'm so glad that you like these cards. They're really just so quick and easy and so cute. So again, we're using the Approaching Perfection stamp set with the Oh So Ombré designer paper. Both of these are Sale-a-Bration gift options that you can choose for free with a qualifying order, with 1 week only left to go until February 28th. You can shop in my online store at juliedavison.com/shop. Would you like to see some more samples using these two? Let me bring in some other cards that I've made and some swaps that I've gotten from other demonstrators. So these two I shared, I think sometime last month on a Thursday Night Live. So these again were also really simple cards. I used a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of that polka dot designer paper, and then I just added a layer on the front with some simple stamping. I did add the Stitched with Whimsy dies. Love the way those cards turn out. These have been some of my favorite cards right here. I did a series again, one of each color, and I used the ombre that didn't have the polka dots, and I stamped the Sale-a-Bration Corner Bouquet and the Sale-a-Bration Heal Your Heart to make the same card in 4 different colors. This is a 2 1/4 inch circle punch, really simple, easy, beautiful. I just love these colors. Like, they're just so pretty. So those are my Oh So Ombré designer paper samples. And then I do have some with the Approaching Perfection. And remember I said a lot of times you can just add these sentiments to any card, like with any designer paper. And that's what they showed in the brochure. But I love what Dawn Olszewski did on this card. She used those stamps to create a background. So she made the image or the sentiments into kind of like a graphic, kind of an image. So she just put them all on one block and she stamped 4 different ways. You could even do this really easily in the Stamparatus as well. And then she just added, this is the ice cream cone punch upside down to make a party hat. So clever and so cute. And you could do that in any color scheme. Here are some more cards. And again, they really focused on other things like the designer paper. So we have the sentiment here that comes from Approaching Perfection. And the Paper Blooms designer paper. This one's by Susan LaCroix. This one is by Meg Lovin, and she used the sentiment from the Approaching Perfection stamp set with the Paper Blooms. And then this card is by Mary McCormick, and she's used a different Sale-a-Bration paper, the Flower and Field, and did some white embossing with the Happy Birthday sentiment. So like I said, you can use Approaching Perfection with any paper, any stamp set. So here's a couple more made with the same paper, the Flower and Field. Here we've got the candles stamped behind the Happy Birthday. So we brought in that image. This one is by, oh, it's a mystery, Sandy Carlson. And then I made this one with the Double Wonder template. and just use the happy birthday. So love this black happy birthday. I feel like that is going to be so useful, and probably the stamp that I'll use the most, but they're all so great and perfect for making birthday cards. So that's what I had to share with you today. We're using Approaching Perfection and the Oh So Ombré paper to make these awesome birthday cards. So I hope that I've inspired you to create with the stamp set and the designer paper, and that you'll give some of these quick and easy card designs a try at home. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Be sure to come back tomorrow for Sale-a-Bration Spotlight Day 4. We'll be live on Facebook at 1 p.m. Central Time. See you then.